Good evening, viewers. A very warm welcome to our 11th SLN show, Lockdown Lives, where we are back again with an interesting topic and some eminent personalities. Well, it's been our endeavor to not only provide information, but we also make sure it's coupled with some fun and musty. And today, it's going to be no different. Our focus is to uplift your spirit, especially during this pandemic. So, what are we going to do? Well, let's hear it from our speakers who are going to dramatize, narrate, and communicate with us, taking us into a whole new world of creativity and imagination. So, are you ready to fly with us? Well, then, fasten your seatbelts as we are all set to take off. But, before that, let me introduce you to our pilots, our captains, who will fly you into a world of creativity and imagination. Our first pilot for this evening is Mr. Roomi Madon. Mr. Roomi is a writer, director, choreographer for the past 30 years and has worked with esteemed schools and organizations, both national and international. Mr. Roomi has established his own organization of performing arts called Padam International, which is affiliated with the Trinity Board of London, where children from the age of five learn and experiment theatrical art and communication skills, which is shared and enriched in a quality environment. Thank you so much, Roomi, sir, for joining us today. It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you so much, Tasneem. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Great.
So our next guest, our next pilot, if I would call it, is Miss Priya Srinivasan. Miss Priya is the founder of the Pomegranate Workshop, a 14-year-old arts education company whose student works have won several international awards. With a presence across schools in Mumbai, the Pomegranate Workshop's programming has been staged at NCPA, NGMA, and several art spaces in Mumbai. Pomegranate has delivered workshops at the Children's Film Society of India's ICFFI, the world's largest children's film festival, for 3 successive festivals. Prior to starting the Pomegranate Workshop, Priya was associate editor at Business Today magazine. Welcome, Priya. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I think maybe Priya has lost her connectivity. We'll get her back soon. I'll move on to our next pilot, our third pilot, Miss Suchi Kapoor. With a master's from XLRI Jamshedpur, rated in the country's top 10 B schools, Suchi loves Mumbai's fast-paced and unpretentious vibe. She is a dreamer who has been spinning epilogues in her head for her favorite books since childhood. She gave up corporate life to pursue her literary dreams. And her favorite hobby is to knit daydreams and fervently supporting her national cricket team. She firmly believes that Mr. Darcy exists in real. Her life has been shaped by the presence of resilient, effervescent women in it. She loves bantering with literary groups and is frequent panelist on various forums, both online and offline, where she shares her thoughts and writings. Moreover, she has authored 3 books, and there is absolutely no stopping to her. Welcome, Ms. Suchi Kapoor. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Pleasure. So we are all set and we are all ready to take off. I hope you're all ready and have fastened your seat belts. And here we go. So as you're aware that we are talking about something that will lift our spirits and make us feel elated, happy, and positive. My first thought to Roomi sir, my first question rather, it would be one way that you would help us audience to uplift themselves, keeping your forte of speech and drama in mind. What is it that you want to share with our audience today, sir?
Well, first of all, Tasneem, I don't agree to the lockdown because our minds are working. The sunrise and sunset is the family time, kindness, creativity, learning, conversation, imagination, reading, meditation, working from home, love, prayers, and of course, the hope. Now, with this word hope, Tasneem, I have written something for you all. Well, I hope you like it. Trust me, once again our andheri will be full of lights. Trust me, once again we will have vada pav and garam chai. Dadar, Virar fast locals will soon run on the tracks. Film City, Goregaon will soon be booming back. Malad to Juhu will honk bumper to bumper traffic. An hour or two with loads of Radio Mirchi and Cinemagic. From Prithvi Theatre to Juhu Chowk Party, fantastic place and chart party. Well, the Dohadwalla CNG key will be back in rows. Kandhi wali chaloge bhaiya? हम फिर से कहकर मुस्कुराएंगे. Oberoi, Infinity, all the malls galore will once again see shopping 24/7 from dusk to dawn. नाचते गाते फिर से विसर्जन करने जाएंगे, गणपति बाप्पा मोरिया हम कहकर चिल्लाएंगे. The gateway will see the pigeons fly. Muhammad Ali Road will see Akram fry barbecue kebabs. Well, oh, those loud honks of the launches, we will hear the engines row. To Ali Bagh, Karina Akshay will go. The Dabawalas on the run once again will be done. And on the signals, das kilo, le lo na bhaiya, we will surely get to hear. Patience is the mother of virtue. Once again, Jalsa Hoga. All faces will brighten up to meet Bachchan, dance and clap. सपनों की इस दुनिया में, इस नगरी में फिर से सपना लेकर आएगा कोई राइटर, कोई एक्टर, कोई फिर से स्टार बन जाएगा. पूरी दुनिया से अलग ये इसकी अपनी शान है. ये फिर से दौड़ेगी, ये फिर से भागेगी. ये मुंबई मेरी जान है. So with this hope, Tasneem, I tell our people to come on. Don't worry, everything will be back to normal.
Brilliant, sir. Thank you so much. I already feel elated and so happy about this. Thank you for this beautiful poem. Just feels so great listening to it itself, and it's just awesome. Thank you very much. Absolute positive. Moving on to Miss Priya. Have we got her back? Just wondering.
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, yes. Hi, Priya. Okay,
Hi.
so moving on to Miss Priya. Priya, what are you going to share with us today? What are you going to narrate to our audience and uplift their spirits?
Okay, I think that this is an unusual time, and a time for reflection, a time for creativity, a time for being with yourself, a time for being with the family. And you'd be amazed how many writers and artists have actually thrived in this way. So, if I may, I'd like to share some of those instances, and if I may request for slide number 1 to come on. Um, I'd like to share what this artist called Marie Andrew does with her time. And she makes doodle maps. Now, what do we see here? We see her home, and she calls it living alone. She has a couch in the center. She has her bonsai plant where she says, I'm responsible for taking care of this. And then she has her little phone where she says that I can play the podcast as loudly as I want. And there are just a million little things going on inside her house that she captures in these lovely little drawings with little captions that tell a story with pictures. So these are doodle maps. They are beautiful to do. And I think as we sit at home, it's just the perfect time to doodle, to color, to discover new colors.
I think we've lost Priya again, maybe. Okay, so I think we'll move on. I'm sorry about this. I think Priya has.
Of her
Okay,
memories
yes, she's.
of
Okay, so I think there is some connectivity issue from Ms. Priya's end. We will have her back soon. I'll just move on to our next guest, Mrs. Kapoor. Using your very fine communication skills, what is it that you will share with us and our audience today? Suchi.
Thanks, Tasneem.
I got it right.
You did. All that training and the backstage talk that helped. Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
So I thought hard that I should look for some pearls of wisdom, but unfortunately, I'm still looking for them. So I'll share whatever that I have learned, or whatever that I know, or what I think. That's how I want to start. So communication, it's a lovely thing, the best thing ever is what I believe. But there are two parts to it. One being you communicating to yourself. Of course, the other is to communicate with others. I believe that if you've got the first bit right, the other automatically follows. How is it that I see myself? Do I listen to myself? What are my views on a particular topic, issue, emotion? Or rather, most importantly, do I even have a viewpoint? It's a known fact that something which one knows well or something that is close to my heart, I would want to put it out there. And more often than not, I'll be able to convey it no matter how bad or how good a communicator I am. Why is that? Because I think it's sorted in my head. Whether it is body language, whether it is vibes, whether it's verbal, written communication, the first step, I believe, in it is to know your own self. Of course, and then comes the whole bit about being eloquent and confident enough to communicate it to the others. The communication bit is a fine art, but I think it's an art which you need to mold around yourself rather than the other way around. I want to take two of my favorite people as examples and try and do a little justice to it. The first example is Jacinda Ardern. She's the youngest Prime Minister of New Zealand, aged 37. She juggles her role as a politician, as a mother, as a woman in a very laid back, very relaxed, relatable sort of style. I mean, you listen to her and it makes you, warm up to her. And, you're listening to her and she's talking about her cat probably, which has opposite thumbs. And suddenly, she's out there biting the head off of this commentator who dared ask her a sexist question. Now, she pulls no punches. She makes no apologies for who she is. That's how she is, take it or leave it. And I think it works very well for her. She's been a fantastic leader when she took people into the lockdown and how she slowly brought them out, and she's done successfully. Now, she has her own charisma, and we all think that charisma is something that I am not. That's usually because I have a fixed notion, or we have a fixed notion of what charisma probably is something that makes you look super confident, snazzy, slick, funny, with that dazzling smile, right? Well, not really, not always. I think effective communication doesn't have to be in your face if that's not what your style is. To anybody and everybody who wants to be a good communicator in whatever form, I think you need to find your own flavor. The German Chancellor, Angela Merkel, she did it. Whether it is her same suit style that she wears every time, whether it is her triangle-like finger pointing or the stiff stature that she stands in, she's developed her own style. In the world of all these amazing glib speakers, she stands out like a sore thumb, but she stands out. She's not flashy, she's not wild. She sees and says the truth as it is. She lets her words stand there without any drama. And I know Roomi sir gave such an amazing example of how it can be with drama, but there is another side which can be done without it. And that's effective communication as well. I think authentic communicators are originals, not copycats or copies. They hold their values, views true, not socially or politically acceptable, but because they've gone through a process for this. At the end of the day, I want to ask myself, what is it that I believe in? What is it that I think is right? And I want to say that out in whatever way, whether it is my writing, whether it is my blogging, or how I'm speaking with you right now. Not be politically correct, but that's the best way that I know. Yeah.
Wow, that's as always extremely eloquent of you. And I love that part of you have to find your own flavor, take it or leave it. Yeah. I think and you speak straight from the heart, which is so evident. Thank you so much. That was inspiring. Some may agree, some may not, but that's what you are. You just speak straight from your heart and you're there bang on to the point. I love that part about you. And that's exactly why you are here with us, sharing everything straight from your heart. Thank you. I'm going to take that. Thank you so much. So we'll move on to, I don't know whether we have Priya back, but we'll move on otherwise to, okay, do we have Priya? Hi, Priya.
Hi.
Okay, sorry. So there was a little bit of connectivity issue. Okay, so if you could just share with us that last bit of the doodling that was in your image that you were showing.
Sure.
And Priya, we can't hear you. If you could be a little louder.
Yeah. Can we move to slide 2 again, please? Am I clearer now?
Much better. Yeah.
Okay, so we're back with the artist Marie Andrew. And in slide two, this one is slide one. Yeah, slide two. She actually takes us to the city of Berlin and her memories of the city, where she again, with little doodles, shows us her favorite barista. It could be, I think there's her favorite curry place. There is a place where she's visited for music. And she has lovely little captions, and these capture an entire period for her. So when she looks at this years down the line, or when any of us look at our own doodles years down the line, we're going to have a complete journaling of what we have gone through at this point. And this is a fantastic time to open up your doodling diaries and come up with your own doodle maps like Marie Andrew. Can we go to the next slide, please? I'd like to give you a small example of how doodling can work. This is by one of my colleagues who, from her window during the lockdown, has gathered sights, sounds, smells, and she's put down everything from a coconut tree to a pressure cooker to a dried flower that she gathered up, and she's put little captions next to each of it. And this stays as your permanent journal from the lockdown. So that is what I wanted to share with you on Marie Andrews' style of story and art through doodle maps. What have we done here? We've basically looked at our what we see around us, our memories, our thoughts, our recollections, visuals, and we've gathered it all into something that stays on. How else can we do this? If we could go to the next slide, please. There. You could even do this in the form of an I am poem. So, words are another way of expressing ourselves, whether it's, I am, I wonder, I hear, I see, I want, I am, right? I pretend, I feel, I touch, I worry, I cry, I am. Well, let's all hope we can become as good a poet as Mr. Madan, right? But here's a start for you. So this is a rough starting point for an I am poem that you could try out. If we could go to the next slide, please. Now, there is this fabulous author called Gerald Durrell, and he's written this amazing book called My Family and Other Animals. Do lay your hands on it and do read the book. Now, I'm going to give some of you, the older children out there and the adults, a little bit of time to just read through the paragraph here. My goodness, an entire scorpion. How many of us have seen a scorpion? Can we move to the next page? So he picks up the scorpion and he goes into his house, places the scorpion inside a matchbox, which he thinks is very careful. We all know what scorpions can do, right? And then look what happens. Oh my God. All right. And let's move to the next slide of the scorpion chapter. And he says that it was not the scorpion's fault. She, of course, created pandemonium in the dining room. The whole family has run helter skelter. But at the end of the day, he says the scorpion is not to blame. Now, what does this have to do with where we are today? Think back on all the scenes that go on at home. Think back at the dining room conversations. Think back at what happens when all of you are home all day, the dialogues that take place, the fights that take place, the laughter that takes place. And guess what? You can actually come up with your own little chapter based on dialogues in the house and what happens around the dining table or in the kitchen, wherever you might be with the family. And it can make for fantastic writing, like Gerald Durrell, who went on to become one of the world's best known authors. Yes, so this is how I would say that books, poetry, art are just here with you to give you the kind of triggers you need to completely express yourself during this lockdown and always have something to carry forward with you. Thank you, Tasneem.
Wow, Priya, that was amazing. I love the fact of one of your colleagues sketching what she sees, what she saw outside from her window, and using all the senses. I think we sometimes often forget that. And it's such a beautiful way of expressing thoughts and ideas through poetry as well. Excellent. I mean, I love this dialogues of, having these dialogues, dinner table conversations, so many things that we can do. And we sometimes don't realize that it could actually weave into a story. That's lovely, Priya. Thank you so much. It was something that I'm going to try definitely, sitting by the window and actually sketching what I see. Thank you so much. So moving on to Rumi sir again.
Yes. Tell me,
Sir,
Tasneem.
your poem was absolutely heartwarming. Thank you once again. It was just beautifully penned.
Right.
So now talking a little bit of drama. Okay, if you could share the importance of role play, importance of enactments, in our day-to-day life. There's so much of drama anyway, which just goes on. So how is it that you could use drama actually to uplift ourselves? How could we do that? Even
Tasneem,
adults,
first,
for that matter. Let's not restrict it to only children, but even adults, for that matter.
yeah, yes. Tasneem, not to forget, when we're getting into drama or we're getting into anybody's shoes, that is a complete aspect that we study. Why are we forgetting the importance of speech and drama in the world here? Why are we forgetting that? Well, we all have adored William Shakespeare. And what did he say?
The
All the
world's a
world's
stage.
a stage. We all have come to play our parts and gracefully go away. So, posing someone, getting into someone's shoes is not the only thing. We ourselves are playing parts in this world, right? Now, if we study this world of words and emotions, that is speech and drama, then from time immemorial, that is the Greek mythology, where the Greek god taught us that one word, dran, 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 means to do it. We do it, we enact, we perform, right? So, not to forget that each and every individual has a role to play. Some say, I love to play the bad one. Well, some win the world with love, and some are idiotic fools. Well, with revenge and spitefulness, where we have some calm and peaceful. Well, some are spunky and zestful, while some are merry and happy, while some will kill you with their sadness, and some pain, anguish, and anger, which is a short madness. So the fun part is that each and every one and each and every person has their emotions, and they pay that to make the the recipe of this world a wholesome place to live in, because each and every role is played with their emotions that they have. Now, if you want to win the game, then you have to tackle everyone with your mind there and not your heart. Remember this, because if you want to survive in this world, then you have to get your mind there stronger than your heart. So, this is actually really working on to Shakespeare's what you call explanation to speech and drama. Well, posing into people's shoes, Getting into people's shoes, yes. I mean, that's a complete different aspect altogether. So, whether it's you and I, we are all playing our parts. Thank you, Tasneem.
Thank you, sir. That was lovely. And yes, truly agree that all the world's a stage. Each one of us is playing our own little parts. Thank you very much. That was again one very, very motivating and inspirational. We'll move on to Miss Priya. Yes, she's there. Hi, Priya. So,
Hi.
Priya, books are your strength and your weakness. If you could share, I'm going to club two questions actually for you because one would lead to another. So, if you could share some stories, how listening to stories enhances students' thinking, creativity, and also writing skills, and if you could share with our viewers how to use a book to the best advantage, the ways in which stories as reading can lift our spirits, open up a whole new world of fantasy, imagination. What is it that we should look out for in a book?
Sure. Why is reading so important? Well, if you go back to,
Priya, sorry. Priya, we can't
yeah,
hear you. If you
yeah.
could be louder.
Is this,
I'm
is
sorry.
that okay now?
Yeah, a
Is that
little
better?
closer. Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that
Better?
yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. So if we go back to ourselves as infants, what is the first thing that we learned? Language, right? We learned words. We learned to associate words with things and images, and we constructed language. We learned arithmetic and things much later. And so, what really constitutes the basis of how we make sense of the world? It's through language. And where does language manifest itself the most? It's in books. And so, the link is that direct. How a book affects you, how it affects your emotions, how it affects your thinking, how it affects your analysis, your ability to sequentially look at a plot, your ability to see cause effect sequences in the book itself, your ability to see how a character transits through the book. All of these are deeply analytical and applied processes, and we underestimate how much reading means for the whole of education, right? A child who is a reader is already much easier to educate. And this is really the bottom line. So I would say that reading aloud to children is the most important, first and foremost thing that a parent can do for the child. It's really as important as food itself. And when I say read aloud, I'm not talking about testing their comprehension or quizzing them or understanding what they have understood of the book, or understanding their abilities through the book. No, books are first and foremost stories. They are first and foremost a lot of fun. Let us please not take away that fun. It's got to be bedtime and reading and a special time which you have with your child, and those 20 minutes, 25 minutes are sacrosanct. Nothing can take its place. And the importance of this is cannot be emphasized enough. So I would just say that reading forms the basis of everything that we do, everything that we know, and everything that we are. Go back to your own childhoods, go back to your own reading patterns, and you will realize how much it has influenced who you are today. As for the imagination, I mean, what better than books to take you to lands far away, to take you to lands that may not even exist, to take you towards characters who you might just meet sometime in life, or you may not, but to know that such characters could even exist in the imagination. I mean, what other medium can possibly do that than books? So I would just say that in a way it is, identifying the core theme in a book and then springboarding that into activities becomes the most important way to engage children. For example, if you look at the Gerald Durrell reading and the activity that I just mentioned a little while ago, You could read that paragraph, you could enjoy it, you could be in Gerald Durrell's boots, you could be at that dining table. But hey, just wait a minute, isn't there a lesson in that where you could look at your own dining table, you could look at your own house, you could look at your own family and start seeing the quirks in them, the funny stuff in your own family, and start jotting that down, start journaling, and become a Gerald Durrell? Nobody's checking spellings, nobody's checking grammar, nobody's going to check any of those things. Keep your own little journal and write away, and I think that this is the most crucial aspect of reading and enjoying books, to not link it to testing and questioning, but to link it to fun and expression. Thanks, Tasneem. I hope that answered the question.
Thank you, Priya. I think I just love the fact that yes, we should not look at it as like a test or examining understanding. It should be fun. Okay, we should give that opportunity to every child, okay, to enjoy that book, read aloud. I think it's beautiful because as even adults we love listening to stories, so why do we take that away from children as well? And I love the part of the journal. Yes, I'm going to try that too. And I think for the audience also, we need to understand that yes, there is no testing of literacy in terms of spellings and the grammatical constructs. The whole idea is to have fun and make connections, right, with the book, the self to text to text, all of those kind of things, inferences, etc. I think that's beautifully put up, Priya, and I'm sure the audience has a good takeaway with that. Thank you very much for it. We'll move
Thank
to
you.
Suchi. And I got it right, Suchi.
See,
Okay, I'm sure the viewers are just wondering what is happening with Suchi and Mrs. Kapoor. So, yes, we will just keep it to Suchi for that time. All right. So, our question to you is your children are writing books right now. 7, 8, 9 year olds have started writing. You started a little later at that point in time. So,
much.
how do you feel? Okay, much later. I know you will accept that. So, how do you feel about that? I mean, do you regret that you should have started a little earlier? What were your writing blues like? And, if you could share a bit of your writing journey with us.
It's such a double-edged sword kind of thing. I don't know whether I should have started earlier or that I've started now. It wasn't part of the plan. I did not know that I was going to become a writer till the double digits also hit me in terms of age. As I stand today and look back, I wonder how absolutely amazing it would have been had I started writing. Maybe if I was whatever in grade 8, grade 9, it would have been amazing, right? Imagine where I would have been. Crazy good. But then there's this disquieting thought, and which occurs almost simultaneously every time I have this one. As a writer or even as a person, I think and personally me, I'm the sum total of my experiences, my journey as a professional, as a woman, as a homemaker, as a mother, everything. And I feel, or rather, I wonder, had I not gone through all these things, would I have been half as good as what I am today? And I don't mean to toot my horn by saying that, oh, I'm this amazing writer today. But I think I would, the kind of depth that I feel now in my writing or the emotional experience, which I'm hopefully able to convey through my work, I don't think it would have happened had I not read as many books in the past 30 years and more, or done all these things, lived the life. So I don't know. Maybe I would have been a writer. I don't know. A good one, I have no idea. But I'm happy being one now. It was, it so happened that there was zero conviction inside me to write. And I think sometimes you need to be pushed, and it's an accidental thing where people around you feel that you can do it and maybe you don't. And like you said in my intro, that I've been thinking about alternate endings to other people's stories, dramas, movies, rather than creating my original one.
Great one.
But then when I got pushed into it eventually, and then it was like a virus. Since then it's not left my body. I'm sorry, I think it's an inappropriate joke at this point in time, especially these days. But yeah, that's how it's been. There are blues or blocks or something. I don't know what they are. I'm so excited about writing per se. It gives me so much joy, I cannot tell you. That those blocks, they come and they go away. I think, I'm sure I cry at that point in time. My family suffers. I don't know. But it's absolutely sheer bliss, joy being able to write at this point in time. And it doesn't matter whether at whatever age that I'm at currently, I feel like a 10-year-old, holding my first manuscript in hand and getting it published. I promise you, that's how it feels like. I'm 10 years old and no more.
Wow. That's that's so beautiful. You've just expressed everything so calm, composed, poised, everything. So that's we just love that about you. And thank you for being so honest and letting us know. So see, there are so many people who are wanting to write also out there, and they are so stuck that, oh, how is it going to be? What is the next step forward? But I think you've just motivated each one of us and so beautifully uplifting them. I'm sure I just love that. So since you're there with us, I will move on to my next question with you.
Okay.
Okay. So you've got an MBA degree, okay, from one of the finest institutes, the top 10 B schools. So the shift from MBA to being a homemaker to be a writer, and I know you call this the second phase. So
Yes.
can you throw some light on that? I love that. I love that second phase.
So more than the second phase, I think it's the second chance. And so it's probably, it's there for all those people like me who think that, or who used to think that, I've done the MBA, I worked for a bit, I came back, I quit, now I became a mommy, now what? And now that I'm a writer now, I do not know if I'm going to be successful. I have crazy dreams, as I like to tell myself and the people around me. I'm ambitious like hell. It's there is no end, or there is no limit to where I want to go. Sky being the even sky not being the limit. Okay?
Yes, for you.
Correct. So the thing is, I think I've lived the past to the fullest, and neither of these, either the circumstances or my own mental block or the lack of it, it's helped me. It's helped me not treat it as a second chance, but an extension of what I was and now what I'm going to be. So for all those people who are probably stuck and who thought that I was going to be an engineer and now I'm not so good at it, or maybe I'm not enjoying it, it's all right. Maybe you were meant to be a baker. And then tomorrow you decide to go there and do that. And probably 10 years down the line or 5 years down the line, you realize that's not who you want to be. It's all right. 19 or 90, it doesn't matter. It's got to be in your head. You got to, one, be okay with the idea that it's going to come with a lot of challenges. I promise you, so many highs and so many lows. Okay. But as long as you've made peace with that fact and you're okay to go through that journey, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth chance, they're all waiting for you. Absolutely waiting for you. There's no stopping us, especially for women, girls who think that, okay, this is the life which has been charted for us. This is what we are and this is what we've been told to be. Come on, we can change it, or at least modify it.
I truly agree. Yes, I totally agree. I think we need to accept and move out and move on with it. And yes, it's second, third, take all those chances and accept that there are going to be challenges. Of course, there's going to be a challenge. Otherwise, there's no fun actually in that journey without any challenges, And when you have a supportive family, I think half your battle is won. I think I also look at it that way. Yeah. So
Yes.
I think that's very, very motivational. Thank you so much. And we'll move on to Roomi sir now.
Yes, Tasneem. Tell me.
So I'm sure our audience would be waiting, sir, to if you could share some examples, some activities, which not only children but also adults, a child and their parents could enjoy during this time, especially when we have so much free time at home, So what would you suggest for them?
Well, we can have word games, we can have crossword puzzles, Scrabble, damsharas, enactments of scenes. We could definitely look into topical acts. We can look into acting in pairs, family getting into the dramatization of poetries. That's poems come alive. And the most entertaining part is mimicry, where the family gets together. I mean, like, there's a lot of fun and interaction. All these things, from word games to, I mean, like, enactments to sharing each other's what you call time the right way, is the key to this period right now.
Yes, I totally agree, sir. And I think one thing I will agree to you on one part is that mimicry is so much fun. I have a 6 year old, and what he enjoys is when we mimic him. He actually enjoys that, and he waits for us to see, for us, to mimic him, and the expressions on his face, it uplifts him so beautifully. I think we should all try that. And if you take it positively, I think it's just amazing. It's such a fun way to get together. There's a specific time and we just do it together, and it's so amazing. That mimicry is just, it's mind blowing, I must tell you that, sir. So yeah, I think my son loves that, and we just love doing mimicry together, and he loves it. So yeah, I think I just wanted to share that on that note. Thank you, sir. Thank you for these ideas, and I'm sure our audience will also try a few of these. um so okay, we'll move to Miss Priya. Hi, Priya. So, as educators, as
Hi.
parents, we always want our children to read, become voracious readers, and at the same time comprehend, be able to express, whatever they've read, their thoughts and their understanding about the text. So, could you share a few tips on how to first select the right book, and how to, the ways to encourage and instill that love for reading? Some strategies, if you could just share with us.
Sure. I'd like to actually go back to another slide now. If I can just have the last slide, please, on that
Yeah.
presentation. So, one thing I would like to emphasize is that while it is fine to look at age appropriate reading and all of that, we have to remember that there are readers at different levels, children with different interests. So, there could be a first grader reading Harry Potter. Yes, I've even seen those. And you could have a fifth grader who is, absolutely not into Harry Potter or any of, anything that he or she ought to be at that age. So I would say that let children make their choices. It's so critical because that's part of the process itself, of expressing a love for reading. So I would like to run you through an age appropriateness strategy for texts. At the same time, I would like to emphasize that the love for that genre or that kind of book supersedes all of this. Okay. So, what is this? The five-finger rule to pick a just right book. How do we do this? Pick a book, open any page, start reading, and put up a finger for each word that you do not know. This is for the children, of course, not the parents, right? So, if fingers 0 to 1 go up, the book is just too easy. If it's 1 to 2, then it's a perfect choice, possibly. 3 to 4, give it a try. 5 plus, it's too hard. Okay. Just a simple, literally a finger rule, to figure out if the reading level matches where, the child is at. However, having said that, it's like I said earlier, there are so many genres of reading. Children, there are children who love nonfiction, who are just so into, it could be anything from the Jurassic era to just modes of flying. I mean, the interest range is vast. Some of them are just so interested in birds and wildlife. Some of them just love fiction, and they're way beyond their years in terms of reading fiction. So please go with the child's inherent interest. And if the child is not showing much interest in picking up books, then just leave the books around. And you could be reading your own books, when the child is around, so he or she gets a sense that this is an important activity in the family. And just leave books around for them and wait for them to sort of gravitate to it, pick it up, look at it. But please remember, if you're not reading your own books, your child is definitely not going to read his or her own books. So parents, there's no getting away from it. You've got to be a reader yourself first. Okay. As for strategies, in terms of why they don't talk about a particular book that they're reading, well, uh, children actually don't often talk about what they're reading and what they feel about it, which is perfectly all right. In fact, it's nice to allow them to explore and turn the pages and figure out a book in their own sweet, quiet time, which is how we all like to read. So allow them a lot of space. Definitely, when you're taking them into a bookstore, just give them a lot of time to browse, because, telling them, hurry up, go pick your book and come back, I'm waiting for you at the cash counter, doesn't work at all. They may take 2 hours, but please go ready with that much time. Take your own book, sit down with a coffee and a muffin, and wait for them to spend themselves out looking at those bookshelves. That amount of time is needed in a bookstore to just browse. So this is really all about how much time we give them to discover, how little we interfere with the process, and how much we're willing to wait for them to share with us. Thank you, Tasneem.
Wow, I think that's beautiful. I think, yeah, that's really true, Priya. That we first need to role model ourselves. We have to have that book with us as well and read. And yes, I love that fact that when we are asking them to select a book, it can't be in a minute or two. Just because we are in a hurry to leave the bookstore, let them do it at ease. And that's. I mean, yeah, that's really true, and we must try to implement that, because and that's a good idea to sit with a coffee and a muffin and let our children explore the world of books as they are at the store. Thank you so much, Priya, for this. We'll have Roomi sir back.
Yeah, Tasneem.
So Roomi sir,
Tasneem, when you asked me about the drama
mm-hmm.
into the real world, I thought
Yes.
of this brilliant story that came back, I mean, like, to my memory.
Mm-hmm.
And do we have time? Can I share this little story of how?
Sir, can I come back to you? Yes, I will come back to you. Yes, let me just firstly end with this last question. We come back to you for the story also. We will definitely.
Right.
So, sir, we always underestimate the power of poetry. Okay, poems are, if recited appropriately, with the correct voice modulation, etc., can bring in a lot of humor, joy, and it again opens up a whole new world of imagination and thinking. So, if you were to pick a poem today, okay, at this point in time, which one would it be? And if obviously goes without saying, you could narrate it in your style.
I'm in love with T.S. Eliot. I don't know, many of my students love to pick them up in the higher grades, pick him up. And imagine a cat being and being into the underworld. Well, I would love to perform Macavity by T.S. Eliot. We go?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All yours.
Macavity, the Mystery Cat by T.S. Eliot. Macavity's a mystery cat. He's called the Hidden Paw, for he's the master criminal who can defy the law. He's the bafflement of Scotland Yard, the flying squad's despair. For when you reach the scene of crime, Macavity is not there. Macavity, there's no one like Macavity. He's broken every human law. He breaks the law of gravity. His powers of levitation would make a fakir stare. But I tell you once, and once again, Macavity is not there. Macavity is a ginger cat. He is very tall and thin. You would know him if you saw him, for his eyes are sunken in. His brow is deeply lined with thought. His head is highly domed. His coat is dusty from neglect. His whiskers are uncombed. He sways his head from side to side with movements like a snake. Yes. For when you reach the scene of crime, he is always wide awake. Macavity. He is outwardly respectable. They say he cheats at cards. And his footprints are not found in any file of Scotland Yard. The Lord is looted. The jewel case is rifled. The milk is missing. Another pig's being stifled. Hey, the greenhouse glass is broken. And the trellis past repair. Hey, that's the wonder of the thing. McCavity is not there. And when the Foreign Office finds a treaty done astray, or Admiralty lose some files and plans and drawings, by the way, there may be a scrap of paper on the stair or in the hall. But it's useless to investigate. McCavity's not there. And when the loss is discovered, the Secret Service says it must have been McCavity. But he's a mile away. You may find him resting or licking off his thumb or engaging in doing long, complicated sums. Well, there's never was a cat of such deceitfulness and suavity. He always had an alibi and one or two to spare. At whatever time the deed took place, McCavity wasn't there. I might mention Mongo Jerry. I might mention Griddle Bone. Are nothing more than agents for the cats who all the time just control the operation. He's the Napoleon of crime. McCavity.
Wow, sir, I love that. And that's exactly what we wanted to show the audience, that how humor, mystery, and you can actually experience it if you've narrated it the way it's supposed to be. I think brilliant, sir. I mean, hats off to you. Bow down. Thank you, sir. It was amazing. And you felt so good after listening to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll move to our next speaker. Can we have Mrs. Kapoor? Oops, I forgot Suchi.
You're doing that deliberately, aren't you?
No, I swear.
Of course you are. Of course you are.
Okay, let's come back. So Suchi, if my last question to you. So, our focus being today lockdown lifts, all right? And you believe a lot in women empowerment, okay? So that's what I've heard always from you. And, you always say that so beautifully. What is it that you would want to tell the audience, especially the women out there, because right now they're playing so many roles, having different feelings, mood swings, etc. What would you tell them to keep their spirits high? I know it's easier said than done sometimes, okay? But something that you would want to tell them to stay positive on an ending note.
So I was thinking for a second that I should give you a profound answer for that. Like, one of those pearls of wisdom that I was looking for earlier.
Nah, that's not you.
So, I'll go with how I feel. You just got to do what you can to keep yourself happy. Because if you're not, others around you dare not be. Okay? During these past couple of months, I haven't waxed. I haven't participated in any of those online fancy games. Put up pictures of me doing something incredibly amazing, like those, exciting things like baking cakes or doing some extraordinary, I do not know, those activities, they completely psych me out once in a while. What I have done is I've spoken at length with few friends whom I completely love, cousins, family. I've built ugly forts, including mattresses, blankets, and umbrellas with my kids. I've read my favorite books. I have watched my favorite shows. I've sent gratitude to the God every single day for people, keeping people around me safe and healthy. It's so important. I'm being selfish in that, but that's what keeps me going, me and mine. So you need to do what you want to do. And more importantly, what you can do. If your bestie is putting out pictures of herself in amazing yoga poses, wearing spandex, for example, or someone's husband's cooking some very fancy looking meal for her, put a like to their post and then move on, go back to whatever that you were doing. So, you just don't need to be bothered or bogged down by what's happening around you, whether it's inside your house or outside. You need to find that zen inside. I know we all are looking for it. People like you may have found it. Tasneem, I look at you and I feel like that. But I'm far from it. But yeah, the constant need to go back to it, just keep to the basics. Don't look to do winning the Olympics at this point in time. There's time for it later. So, do the bare essentials, and then if you've got the time, do that one thing that makes you happy. That's it. And then listen to somebody like Roomi sir. My God, what an amazing performance. I wanted him to go on and on and on. It was awesome to listen to him like that. Really, really. So again, sorry, no pearls of wisdom, but honest truth. I mean, that's how I've kept sane, and I've enjoyed it. The lockdown to whatever best ability that we can in Mumbai. But yes, that's been my mantra.
Yes, and I love that because you're direct. Dil se, I'm just. I think the audience has got it by now. I'm sure you were not a part of any of those Facebook trivias where you have to post your picture wearing a sari and all of those things happening. Mom's challenges, those Facebook challenges, especially Instagram challenges. Yeah. And even if you were good enough, you wouldn't have been doing that. I know how it is. So, but yes, but that's I think that's what we learned from you today is that, just do what you like and let's not see what the others are doing, because obviously that's going to make you more upset, and move on. Yes. Give that like and move on. Oh my God. That's so important. Yes. I'm going to take that. So now we come to the last segment, the rapid fire, the most awaited time. So I'm going to start with you since you are on screen with me right now. And this is going to be really quick. Okay, straight from the heart again. All right, I don't have to tell you that. So, a lockdown confession you would like to make?
Being alone is underrated.
If you woke up and there's Kareena Kapoor, you would?
My husband's library and go for it. Saif Ali Khan's supposed to have amazing book collection.
Amazing books, yes. I thought you would say main apni favorite too.
The bookworm in me probably wouldn't let me do that.
If you had to describe yourself using a book title, it would be?
A book title? The Great Expectations. I have a lot of them from myself and others.
So that's one of your books, right? Okay, your kids think you are?
Autocratic, workaholic. But my daughter thinks that I'm the best author in the world. So I've got it sorted.
Wow. Okay, your biggest strength?
Perseverance. I'm at it.
A pen. All right. Okay, a pen, that I agree. A pen is mightier than a sword. Agree or disagree?
Agree. Just see, China is speaking a different tune. An hour ago that just came up. If you're not aware, if you were not following, no guns fired, no submarines, whatever. We are back to business, thankfully.
Back to business, yes, absolutely. Your favorite book?
It's like choosing a favorite movie. Pride and Prejudice and Gone with the Wind. At least two.
Okay, that's fair enough. A film personality you relate to?
So Indian, I would say Kajol. She has no filter on her mouth. I love it.
Not at all.
Makes me think of somebody close to home. So yes.
Okay, and if not a writer, you would be?
A struggling writer.
Well put. Okay, so that's the end of your rapid fire. Very well done. And yes, very soon it will reach you post the lockdown. I promise you that. We promised all our speakers, and we keep up to our promises. Okay. So we move, but you need to win it. We have the audience vote.
Then if I'm competing with Roomi sir and Priya, I think I'll go home now. Oh, I'm at home.
Can we have Priya back on screen?
Gosh, Shuchi has just put.
Hi, Priya.
Sure. Hi.
Okay, so Priya, we'll start with the rapid fire with you now. Your favorite author?
Gabriel Garcia Marquez.
Okay, if you met Dr. Seuss, what would you ask?
How did you come up with thing 1 and thing 2?
If you woke up as Trunchbull in Matilda, you would?
Take off to the forest and never be seen again.
Aha, nice. Your favorite quote about stories or reading?
Okay, so this one is by the Marx Brothers, and who says if two letters of the alphabet TV can do so much for you, think what 26 can do.
Wow, that's thought-provoking. Okay, if you were to write a book for children, the genre would be?
Well, it's picture book, but in the style of Shel Silverstein, which is The Giving Tree.
The Giving Tree.
I mean, it's just, I would never reach it, but it's what I would want.
Yeah, that's true. A must-read series or a title for children and adult?
Mark Twain, for sure. Huckleberry Finn, Tom Sawyer, definitely for children. And in terms of the landscape of books, definitely The Lord of the Rings for adults. And for adults, my God. I mean, since I said Marquez is my favorite writer, it has to be a Marquez book. So 100 Years of Solitude.
Okay, nice. So if you could bring alive a character, which one would it be?
If I could bring alive a character, then it would be a character for whom I have questions. So I would bring alive Catherine from Wuthering Heights, because it's a character whose motivations I haven't understood. So I would want to ask her a few questions.
Okay. And a story character you can relate most to?
No, this is a tough one. I've loved many, but honestly, I mean, to relate to, I think I'll pass this one for the simple reason that I think I would box the character too narrowly if I try to relate to it. So
no
I think,
okay, so that's fine, accepted. Very well done, Priya. You did a brilliant job. Okay, so we'll have Roomi sir now. Yes, sir. Are you ready to be on the hot seat?
Yes.
I can see sir is all set. Okay, sir. My first question. If you woke up as Gabbar from Sholay, you would?
First shoot coronavirus, Sandeep Jayanil.
A Bollywood film character that best describes you?
Me, Arshad Varshi, yes.
Really?
Yes.
Ah, sweet. Okay. If Mogambo was born in this period, what would his prominent dialogue be?
Oh, lockdown में Mogambo खुश हुआ.
Okay. While acting on stage, if you forgot your dialogue, you would cover up by?
Making up.
Drama to you. That's true.
Yeah.
Drama to you is?
Improvise on the spur of the moment.
Absolutely. What does drama mean to you?
The world, as I told you, all the world is stage.
Yes, that's true. If you were given a chance to step into the shoes of any one of your favorite characters, which one would it be? And what would you do?
Yes, I love Arshad Varshi because whenever I have enacted the Munna Bhai's sequels, I've always got a big applause. So yes, I like it.
Nice. Mamma Mia, Lion King, My Fair Lady, your favorite musical and why?
I think it could be Moulin Rouge.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay, nice. And if you could remake Sound of Music, which Bollywood star would you cast as Maria and the Captain?
Maria, I would definitely take Alia Bhatt. I think she sings a little. And Shah Rukh Khan.
Okay, that's a nice jodi. All right. So your last question. How would you uplift yourself and stay positive? How do you do that? Quickly.
Prayer. Because today, nothing beyond that.
Very well said, sir. Thank you so much. And with this, we come to the end of our show. I'm just checking if there are any questions for us. Do we have any questions from the audience? All right, fantastic. So with this, it's a wrap. At this point, I'd again like to thank all our speakers for just uplifting our spirit so beautifully and being a part of our show. Thank you to each one of you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, Suchi. Thank you, Roomi sir. And thank you, Priya. Thank you for being here with us and just being so freely talking to us and talking straight from the heart. I think that's something that counts the most. And, we can all relate to that. Big, big, big thank you. And
Thank
audience,
you.
for y'all,
Thank you,
very
Tasneem.
much. Thank you.
Thank you so
Audience,
much.
do tune in next Saturday at 4 p.m. We have a storyteller who's going to be joining us, and there's going to be some lots of fun, lots of stories. So do tune in this Saturday at 4 p.m. Till then, please stay home, stay safe, and thank you once again to our lovely speakers. Thank you.
Bye.
It's me signing out. Bye. Thank you.